It's Mike Arrington. I'm here with Greg Tseng, the CEO and co-founder or
Co-founder.
Co-founder of Tagged, a social network that you've probably heard of. We're getting an update on his business because a lot's going on. Hello, Greg?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I started Tagged with my co-founder, Johann Schleiersmith, who's been my best friend since seventh grade.
Johann
Schleiersmith.
Slidersmith.
Schleiersmith.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And we've been
I've
friends.
never met Johann.
I should have brought him.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah. Next time?
Let's see. In 2004, you and Johann.
Yes. We were both PhD students in physics at Stanford.
Yeah.
And
this is pre even MySpace. This is sort of Friendster.
This is around the time. I mean, Friendster and MySpace both got started in 2003.
Yeah.
And Tagged and Facebook were started in 2004. So it was kind of early days.
Yeah. Okay.
And we started in October 2004 with a social network targeted to U.S. teens. So that's the time when Facebook was going after the college market.
You really wanted like the 13 to 18-year-olds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, you had to be between the ages of 13 and 19 and live in the U.S. just to sign up.
Yeah.
And so we were targeting the U.S. high school market when Facebook was targeting the U.S. college market. This is 2004.
Yeah.
And did that for a couple of years. That's really the last time we did a bunch of press. So like a lot of people out there probably think we're still a teen site.
Yeah. And you raised how much? This is all you raised in like 06, 07, right?
We raised in 05.
05, and how much you raised total?
We did a 1.5 million angel round.
Yeah.
We did a 7 million venture round with Mayfield Funds.
And that's it?
That's it.
And you've been profitable, and so you're running on your own money now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And at some point, though, you switched to more of a general purpose social network.
Yeah,
To compete head on with Facebook and MySpace.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
When
So
was that, and how'd that go?
So we did that in, well, I think we all know the answer. So we tried to do this high school thing. We got to about 10% of all U.S. high school students.
How many people is that?
It's 2.5 million out of 25 million.
Okay.
And by 06, we were actually not winning the market. So MySpace was ahead of us in U.S. teens.
And Facebook entered that market.
Had launched
in
their high
06?
school product.
Yeah.
And so we're
actually,
like...
late 05 is when they launched that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by 06, they were ahead of us.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, we're like, went after a market, didn't win it.
Yeah.
So we decided to open up to all ages and countries in late 06, around the same time Facebook did.
Yeah.
And then we became kind of yet another social network.
Yeah.
There with Bebo and High Five and Friendster and Orchid and all the others. So during that time, there was kind of this social networking war where back then it was still kind of anybody's game. But by 07, we were actually not even in the top 5. We were like in the second 5. Of worldwide social networks.
Sort of fading from the press's attention.
Definitely.
Which means, people, you weren't the hot thing, and so you had no real target audience. It was just, you were like Facebook and others, but not them.
Yeah, and we were still figuring out basically what we wanted to be when we grew up.
They beat you.
They beat us. They beat us.
And you say like, Facebook beat us, if you say exactly a good title.
Facebook beat us, or we competed with Facebook and lost.
But you don't look unhappy. So what happened like since then? When you sort of said, okay, we're not going to win this head-to-head battle with Facebook, what did you do then? And that's where things get really cool, right?
Yeah. So in 2007, kind of in the mid to late of that year, we we're kind of on a plateau, whereas Facebook and others are rising. We're like, what's going on? So the first time we actually took a step back and talked to our users. Really,
you didn't know why you were growing?
We didn't know why we weren't growing.
Oh, sorry. You said you hit a plateau. You went like that, I thought. Okay, so
We hit a plateau, whereas a lot of others were growing.
Yeah.
And didn't understand why. So we finally surveyed our users, did a lot of stats and polls and so on, and learned a ton of valuable things, which I would thus encourage any entrepreneur to do. But the most important thing that we learned was people were actually using our site to meet new people, and that's why some of the traditional social networking features like newsfeed and people you may know and all these things just weren't working on our site.
So because they didn't care.
Because
they wanted to meet. So, and really that means you actually had a way to search. Because right now on Facebook, you go and you click friends of friends of friends, or if you know somebody, you can search their name. But all that filtered search has disappeared from Facebook,
right?
As they focus on your real world, and you learn that because you had. I mean, why don't you say it instead of me?
Yeah. So I'd say that we definitely didn't. This wasn't our mission at the beginning to enable what we now call social discovery.
Yeah.
But it sort of just happened, and I think looking back, the reasons why it happened. One is because we didn't do anything to make it not happen. So Facebook is all about the real life social graph. They're like, the social graph exists. We didn't create it. We don't own it, and we merely want to model it online. And they actually prefer that you don't form so-called online friends and these online relationships that may quote unquote pollute the social graph. So that's why you can't browse and search
which
all of Facebook.
Opens up an opportunity.
Which opens up an opportunity. And
we found, not to cut you off, but just to sort of expand the conversation, one of the things I think is interesting about chat roulette, for example, is that it's one of the only ways to go and just meet people.
Exactly.
If you want to go online and meet somebody new, whether it's for dating or just because you want to talk to somebody, it's pretty hard these days. Like there aren't a lot of places, and chat roulette, I think that's the good part of chat roulette. There's some bad parts, obviously, and that I think is what you're focusing on.
It is what we're focusing on, and in some ways,
bringing people together.
Exactly.
And is it a lot of it's dating?
A good amount of it's dating. And I say, overall, this is a very old business. I mean, before social networks, with like either bulletin board systems or Usenet or AOL chat rooms back in the day, I mean, there weren't enough people online that almost by definition, whoever you met online was someone new. But like once the internet hit some tipping points such that you could socialize with all your real life friends online, kind of that's where like all these companies went towards, and the whole social discovery, meeting use case has sort of been neglected.
Why doesn't Facebook do dating profiles? If you think about like Match.com, so there's a couple of my friends who are girls who are currently on Match.com, and like they're talking, they actually show me the guys that they want to date to get my impression. So it's kind of funny. That's a whole other story, but. There's definitely a bit of a stigma of like, oh, do I really want to be up there and like, and like I'm dating, and it's a little embarrassing, right? But if you had, you can't do it on Facebook. Is that what you have? Is sort of, you can be sort of actively looking for somebody to date, but you're not on Match.com or whatever.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So our site is, our goal at least is to be the best place to meet new people for any social reason.
Right.
So there's no stigma attached.
But dating's where the money is, right?
I want to say
virtual gifts and
dating is part of where the money is. But for us, there's lots of dating that happens because the site isn't all about dating. So the analogy that I would use is going to Tag is like going to a bar with your friends, and you just happen to see a girl, you start hitting on her, and something happens, right? Whereas going to Match.com or an explicit dating site is like going to a bar for a singles event by yourself. Right, and like one is accepted, daunting. One has stigma. And so for us. We actually like the fact that it's critical that we have a broad use case.
So when did you latched onto this in 07, 08 and really started focusing on it?
Yeah, so we latched onto this in 07. Really, our users led us to it and decided, this is our differentiation. We're going to let Facebook, MySpace, and everyone else fight it out for the traditional social networking usage. We're all going to be about new friends, new connections, and so on.
Okay, so let's talk about how that's worked. So how have users grown since 07?
Pretty well. So we started in 07 at about 20 million registered users. And we're actually announcing for the first time today that we've crossed 100 million registered users.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
And those are real users or ones you guys entered in yourself to get?
Those are real users.
How many of those are active every month?
We have about 25 million monthly unique visitors.
That's actually amazing. You hadn't told me that before.
No.
So
we haven't told anyone a lot of this.
What does ComScore say for your monthly uniques?
I haven't looked at the last month, but in the 20s.
We'll check that out. What percentage of that is in the U.S.?
About anywhere between a quarter and a third is in the U.S.
Is it about half women, half men? Or?
About half women, half men.
Yeah. Let's talk about revenue. You were, by the way, congratulations. You're added to the Inc. 500 fastest growing private companies. Came out a couple days ago.
Just came out last Tuesday.
So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
And you talked about what you said. It's based on growth from 2006 to 2010 in revenue.
2006 to 2009. So they take your revenue in 2006 and your revenue in 2009, look at your percentage growth, and then rank you based on that number.
And what was your 2006 revenue?
It was 3.1 million.
Okay. And what was your 2009 revenue?
22.7 million.
And profitable.
Profitable.
How many employees do you have?
About 50.
Yeah. And what's your 2010 revenue going to be?
Well, still an estimate at this point, but it'd be somewhere in the 30s.
Okay. And next year, do you know? You estimated out that far?
I mean, at least 50, but I mean, that's kind of.
What does it cost to run your business? Does it cost 10 million a year? Does it cost 15 million a year?
It costs a little more than that, but somewhere between $1 and $2 million a month.
Yeah, and how much of that's headcount? How much of it's sort of fixed bandwidth and operational costs?
It's really about half and half. So if you look at businesses like ours, we have no marketing costs. and we have no content costs. So really the costs just divide up between headcount and technology. And for us, it's about half and half.
How many page views are you serving up a month?
About 5 billion.
So 5 billion page views on your infrastructure costs about, we're talking about $10 to $11 million in like non-headcount costs. Sort of hardware, infrastructure, and bandwidth, right?
Something around there. I mean, I don't have it off the top of my head. I think it's probably between, say, $5 and $10 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it costs a lot of money to serve all those pages.
Now, have you thought about spending some money on marketing? I mean, Match.com does a lot of TV advertising, right?
Yeah. So we actually
dating without the stigma, or
right.
Whatever,
We aren't opposed to it, but we actually don't think we need to. If you look at most of these social sites that become social phenomenons, they kind of just grow based on viral marketing, word of mouth.
How many new users are you adding a month? A million or two? A few million?
In the millions.
Where are they coming from? Just viral?
Viral and word of mouth.
It's sort of kicking in. You're not a dead social network like so many of your old competitors that are just.
Well, I don't know if I mean I don't want to be the one to call them dead social networks.
And we're not naming names, but the guys are just like. They're just like there. They're not growing. They're not doing anything. They're trying to find their path. There's some robustness to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think
some air in the balloon.
Well, I think the issue is that most of those social networks from back in the day are still competing with Facebook. And today, Facebook is king. They weren't king in 2007, but they are king today. And you just can't compete with.
What's your revenue breakdown? You said in the 30s. What percentage of that is virtual goods, advertising?
So about half of it is advertising.
Yeah.
And right now it's mostly just through ad networks. We're just starting to do branded sales.
Yeah.
The other half, which we actually only started last year, is in the category of premium features. So that's virtual currency, both for games as well as dating features like gifts.
Yeah.
And also we have a VIP membership, which is a monthly subscription.
What does that give you?
It gives you a monthly allowance of currency. It gives you a VIP label on your photo, so everyone knows you're VIP.
Yeah.
And it gives you a few benefits, like you get to see who's viewed your profile.
And what does that cost?
$19.99 a month.
And how many members have opted for it?
Somewhat over.
If you could just get all of them to pay $19.99, you'd be making quite a bit of money.
Yes, I think you can see
what's 100 million times 20?
2 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then times 12?
24 billion.
That would be nice.
That's
like
big.
That's Google's revenue.
I think you could say that about any subscription business.
So what percentage? Are you seeing a decent number?
I mean, we are less than a year into it, so I don't know what it is on a percentage basis. But
who looked at your profile.
Yeah.
Do you ever check that out? Is it weird?
Well, so I mean, most people. I mean, so I am kind of the personality on Tagged.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite out there the way Tom is on MySpace.
Yeah.
But so I get looked at all the time. It's just a whole collection of Tagged users from all over the world.
So I cut you off. How many premium users do you have?
In the tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. And when did that feature go live? Has it been around a while?
I believe about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2009 is when we started a lot of these new premium features.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so.
Not back from the dead, but I mean, you're admitting defeat in the war with Facebook, which is sort of obvious, and then. But hey, we listened to our users. It's a good story. I like it. I'm looking forward to write this up. So.
Thank you. I mean, I'd say there are kind of the media focuses on a lot of rocket ships that just Groupon just like launched this thing and like it's just going to the moon. But a lot of successful businesses don't end up doing what they started out doing, and Groupon didn't end up doing what they started out doing, and this sort of
adapt and evolve.
Exactly.
Are you thinking of raising a new round?
Not really. I mean, we've been profitable. Off and on since 2007, but officially since May of 2008.
The new round would be to spend on marketing, right?
Spend on marketing, maybe do acquisitions, maybe do a DST deal.
Those are nice. Those are nice. If you can get, I highly recommend it because you become worth, you have hundreds of millions of dollars in your pocket afterwards. Yeah. So just get the $5 billion, which again, if you can just get everyone to go premium, then we'll work it out off camera. So.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, thanks for coming.
We're going to hire Mike Arrington to be our VIP.
No,
VIP manager.
I'm just
you heard it here.
I'm just a blogger, cheering you on. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear some good news coming out of Tag.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
See ya.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.